Hi everyone, Curtis Washington here, business builder, fitness and nutrition fanatic, truth seeker, and investor. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the liberating power of forgiveness. And I wanted to reference an outstanding book on the topic, and I wanted to share a little bit of it with you. The book was actually a gift from my mother, actually. Thanks, Mom. The book is called The Book of Joy, and it's a fantastic book. It's a New York Times bestseller, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World, The Book of Joy. And it features His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And it's really incredible. It really helps you look on the bright side of things, but in more than that, it really helps you to be more aware of your own thoughts and how uh, that can sometimes they can get in your way, right? You can have really good intentions, but sometimes it's all about where your mind is at, and that kind of dictates how much energy you have, how you uh, take advantage of certain opportunities or don't, how you feel about yourself or others, and that that all wears on you. That all is part of the emotional journey that we all go on each and every day. So there's a particular passage I wanted to share with you from this book today, and it's about a person by the name of Anthony Ray Hinton, and he spent 30 years of his life on death row in a prison in Alabama for a crime he did not commit. He was finally ruled. The Supreme Court finally uh, negotiated or approved his release after 30 years. And first, I just want everybody to try to imagine that 30 years of your life just taken away. No sun, and he was in solitary confinement for most of the time. Never was allowed to go outside. This is death row, right? He was on death row. Uh, no sun, no rain, nothing inside all the time. Just no control over what your activities are throughout the day. Everything regimented. Just no freedom, of course, obviously. Just try to imagine that for a second. Um, Everything that you have right now, everything that you take for granted, the alarm clock's going off, waking you up early to get you out of bed to do the things that you wish you didn't have to do right now. Uh, Having to make dinner, and you wish someone would do it for you. Whatever it might be, right? Going to work, all these things, no choice, gone. Okay, so you know that's quite an extreme situation to be in for 30 years to have all that taken away from you. But I want to talk about a little bit of his interview I'm going to share with 60 Minutes right after his release. And let me just share with you what he said. So, when Hinton was interviewed on the American television show 60 Minutes, the interviewer asked whether he was angry at those who put him in jail. He responded that he had forgiven all the people who had sent him to jail. The interviewer incredulously asked, "But they took 30 years of your life. How can you not be angry?" Hinton responded, "If I'm angry and unforgiving, they will have taken the rest of my life." Unforgiveness, this is the author now going on to say, unforgiveness robs us of our ability to enjoy and appreciate our life because we are trapped in a past filled with anger and bitterness. Forgiveness allows us to move beyond the past and appreciate the present. Now, it's easy, you're reading this, right? And you're just thinking, okay, yeah, oh, that makes sense. But let's take a second to really think about this. When you are upset about someone who's transgressed about, transgressed, you and has done something terrible, and something that really hurt you, and you don't forgive them. This means that you are reserving, right, a part of your brain to spend thinking about how bad this person made you feel or what they did, how negatively it affected you. So that's taking part of you. That's taking part of what could be a creative process from your brain, right? It could be something you could be using that energy, but it's got a hold of you and it's taking energy from you. It is draining your drive, your motivation, and it may not be, something that is very easily, apparent and obvious to you, but just think about this, okay? Think of anybody who did something terrible to you and something that hurt you or ruined your career, or whatever it could be. Now, every time we think about them, if we have not forgiven that person, then we are giving them some control over our mental state. And that means we are giving them some control over our lives still, even though this happened, it could be days, weeks, months, and, of course, time is the greatest healer. But we're talking about something that's happened, something that we cannot change because it's done, right? But we are allowing that event to control us to a degree. It affects us. We get upset. We get irritable. We think about what they did, and maybe we take that experience and say, well, what if someone else does that? Or, maybe it was a bad relationship we had, and, we were now afraid to trust anybody. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be naive, if you've had a bad experience and you learn from that. But at the same time, we can't let these things control our lives. And, that's one thing I just really wanted to share today, is that forgiveness does not mean saying to yourself that, you know what, it's okay. It didn't hurt that bad. We're not talking about lying to ourselves. We're not talking about acting as if it didn't happen. What we are doing is saying to ourselves, this happened. It hurt. I will never forget it. However, I forgive the person who did this to me, because if I allow myself to forgive, I can continue. I do not hold a grudge. I do not hold this feeling inside of me that is negative and that is persistent and that is actually draining my own spirit, right? My own ability to live my life to the fullest. I am not going to allow that experience to do that anymore to me. And forgiveness allows you, with clarity, to see past that experience and not keep reliving it, not keep agonizing over it. And this is not easy, but it is something that makes a very palpable difference in the way you live your life, in the way you're able to live your life, if you're able to forgive. Sometimes this means you have to actually go and, make a phone call. You have to tell them to their face, whatever it takes, it clears your own path. You are forgiving yourself at the same time, because you have been treating yourself as if you've been living under this weight for all of this time. And by forgiving, you take that weight off and you're able to move forward freely without these restraints, without this feeling of anger and pain. So I wanted to share that from this book because I just thought it was a great example. The person in here, this person we're discussing, Anthony Ray Hinton, he talks about how he enjoys the rain, how, if it's falling from heaven, it can't be bad, right? It's got to be, how can you not be mesmerized by something that is falling from the heavens? And I think we can take that and think about, I'm not saying go out and run into the rain, but what I am saying is that when you get up in the morning, when I get up in the morning and you're fighting that alarm, right? You're like, I don't want to get up. I'm tired. What I think this reminds us is that some people don't wake up, right? Some people wake up in a 6x6 cell, like Anthony Hinton did for 30 years. So we should always be grateful of this time that we have, and make the most of it. And by forgiving people who have transgressed, against us, um, it gives us the freedom to do that to the fullest. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully this will be something that you can use to help manifest the greatness that we all possess deep inside. Thank you.